got it bumping.
Okay, cool. Block 1, day 1. What you can expect to see on this day is going to be 2 lifts. It's one of the 2 days throughout our week that has 2 lifts without any accessory work. In today's specific warm-up, you're going to start with 3 behind the neck strict presses. Behind the neck just meaning on the upper traps as if you were going to hit a high bar back squat. You'll then press the bar straight from that position. I would use your clean and jerk position, so maybe an inch or 2 outside shoulders. I know for sure that some of you are going to have an issue behind the neck, pressing, jerking, and like catching the bar back on your back with that narrow grip. If you're one of those people, go more to like a medium grip, which is totally okay. So somewhere between your clean and jerk grip and your snatch grip. Find that middle ground where like it still doesn't feel quite like a snatch, but you're in a position where you're not impinging the shoulders and in pain. If you can't figure that out, like even in a medium grip, your shoulders are still screaming, message me on WhatsApp and we'll figure out a way around it. It's not that big of a deal. But if you're okay off behind the neck, that specific warm-up again, starts with 3 behind the neck strict presses, into 3 behind the neck push presses, so allowing your legs to help, and then 3 narrow grip overhead squat. I've used this one before and it is extremely tricky from a mobility standpoint. The narrow grip overhead squat, I'm using it in this setting more to warm up the mid and upper back and get them almost a little bit pliable. We're using that movement to kind of break in your spine a tiny bit. So don't force full depth if that's gonna roll shoulders and essentially put you in a compromised position. You're just trying to squat as deep as your hips, back, and shoulders will let you, and then you're standing back up. Even if that's a tiny little quarter squat, that's more than okay for me. We're doing split jerks anyway. It's not to warm up your full squat depth, it's more to warm up your upper and mid back. Next, that takes us into the main lift, or at least the first main lift, which is our behind the neck split jerk. So that hand position you used for the entire specific warm-up, now that you have it dialed in, don't change it. That's the same place your hands should be for these behind the neck split jerks. With this move, a lot of people preemptively shrug their shoulders. Because it's on their back and they know they're gonna go overhead, there's a huge tendency to get super tight and make your neck disappear right before you do the dip drive. I rather you really find your lats and abs. So when you're back here, shoulder blades are pinched together, depress them down into the middle of your back, and then really tighten up your abs and go through the dip drive like that, with the shoulders depressed hard and abs tight. That will facilitate a much more stable overhead position than if you try to go overhead with your shoulders like this. In this behind the neck split jerk across the 8 weeks, you're going to expect to see a little bit of tempoed work to begin. I'm thinking the first 4 or 5 weeks will alternate between paused dips and paused catch positions. I'll give you both of those in the demo video. And eventually, by the end, I'm thinking we'll spend at least 3 weeks, potentially a month, doing full speed, normal dip drive with a normal speed catch and just trying to push the percentages a bit. But these first 4 weeks, expect to see paused dips and paused catches. Then, our second main lift for that first day is going to be a front squat. This first 2 weeks, there is almost no volume on the front squat. I just want to get you conditioned to doing 2 big lifts on the day 1. By week 3, the front squat will have a little bit more intensity to it. We'll add a tempo to it. There'll be a few more reps. But these first 2 weeks, the front squat should be very manageable and you should be able to move through it within 20 minutes, half an hour.